Did you know that some of Hollywood's biggest stars didn't just steal the spotlight, they completely rewrote the rules of the industry? In the world of Hollywood, it's easy to focus on the glamorous red carpets and box office hits. But behind the scenes, some stars did something even more extraordinary. They broke barriers. From defying racial stereotypes to paving the way for gender equality, these trailblazers weren't just actors. They were revolutionaries. In this video, we'll take a look at 15 stars who just broke the barriers. Each of them faced incredible challenges, but they fought through adversity and paved the way for a new era of Hollywood. Ready to see who made their mark? Let's dive in. Number 1. Hattie McDaniel. Did you know that Hattie McDaniel made history as the first African American to win an Academy Award? In 1939, McDaniel's groundbreaking win for Best Supporting Actress in Gone with the Wind marked a significant milestone in Hollywood. Her portrayal of Mammy was powerful, a role that gave her a platform to demonstrate her incredible talent. But it wasn't without controversy. While the role brought her recognition, it also reinforced painful stereotypes that many criticized. Despite the backlash, McDaniel's Oscar win was a monumental step forward for African American representation in a deeply segregated Hollywood. Though her legacy has been both celebrated and debated, McDaniel undeniably opened doors for black actresses at a time when racism was deeply ingrained in the industry. But what really happened behind the scenes? McDaniel's win didn't just change Hollywood, it changed the course of history. Number 2. Rita Moreno. Next up is a star who didn't just challenge stereotypes, she shattered them. Rita Moreno, born in Puerto Rico, became one of the first Latina actresses to find success in Hollywood. Her standout role as Anita in West Side Story was nothing short of revolutionary, portraying a fiery, emotional character that defied the limited and often negative roles given to Latinx actors. Moreno's talent didn't stop there. She's one of the few performers to win an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony Award, making her a trailblazer across all major entertainment platforms. But Moreno's fight wasn't over once she won these prestigious awards. She has spent her career advocating for a more diverse and accurate representation of Latinx voices in Hollywood. How did she manage to fight against the tide and redefine what Latinx characters could be? Number 3. Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier made history in 1963 when he became the first African American actor to win the Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in Lilies of the Field. This victory was about much more than Poitier's career. It was a significant step toward breaking down racial barriers in a segregated society. Poitier's roles were groundbreaking, too. He was known for portraying dignified, strong characters, a sharp contrast to the negative roles typically offered to black actors at the time. Poitier's success paved the way for generations of black actors to rise and challenge the stereotypes that had plagued Hollywood. But what struggles did Poitier face on his path to breaking barriers? Number 4. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe wasn't just a blonde bombshell. She was a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. In the 1950s, she became one of the most iconic figures in pop culture. But Monroe was more than just a pretty face. She broke the mold for women in Hollywood by taking control of her career. At a time when actresses had little power, Monroe founded her own production company, which was unheard of for women back then. She used it to produce films that showcased her range beyond the typical typecast roles she had been given. Monroe proved that a woman could be both a sex symbol and a serious actress, paving the way for future stars to demand more control over their careers. But what challenges did she face as a woman in a male-dominated industry? The answers may surprise you. Number 5. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando was a game-changer in Hollywood, and his influence is still felt today. Known for his raw, method-acting style, Brando brought a new level of authenticity to the screen, a major shift from the more formal, theatrical performances that were common at the time. His portrayal of Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire completely redefined masculinity and opened the door for more complex emotional roles for men. But Brando didn't just revolutionize acting, he also challenged Hollywood's expectations. His bold stance against the system, including his refusal to accept the Oscar for The Godfather as a protest against the treatment of Native Americans, cemented his legacy as a true rebel. What made Brando's career so revolutionary, and how did his actions forever change the industry? Number 6. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was more than just a Hollywood star. She was a fierce advocate for causes that mattered to her. In addition to her glamorous life and multiple marriages, Taylor was one of the first major celebrities to speak out about HIV/AIDS, using her fame to raise awareness and funds for the cause. On screen, she broke the mold of the perfect woman by playing characters who were emotionally complex and deeply flawed. Taylor's boldness in both her personal and professional life made her an icon. She was unapologetically herself, pushing against society's expectations and Hollywood's stereotypes of what a woman should be. How did Taylor challenge the status quo in both Hollywood and real life? Number 7. Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was a true trailblazer, both as an actor and a singer. Known for his commanding baritone voice and his groundbreaking portrayal of Othello on stage, Robeson became one of the first black actors to achieve international fame. However, his career was far from easy. Robeson faced intense backlash for his outspoken political beliefs, particularly his support for the Soviet Union, and was blacklisted during the McCarthy era. Despite the personal and professional struggles, he remained steadfast in his commitment to civil rights and used his fame to shine a light on racial inequality. Robeson's contributions to both the arts and activism opened doors for future generations of black artists in Hollywood. What were the challenges Robeson faced, and how did he continue to use his platform for change? Number 8. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge was a true pioneer, becoming the first African-American woman to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Carmen Jones. At a time when Hollywood rarely offered leading roles to black women, Dandridge's talent and beauty shone brightly, breaking new ground for actresses of color. Unfortunately, despite her success, she struggled to find consistent opportunities in Hollywood, often facing racial barriers that hindered her career. However, her groundbreaking achievements paved the way for future black actresses, and her legacy as one of the first to break the color barrier in Hollywood has earned her a place in history. How did Dandridge's career challenge the racial boundaries of Hollywood, and what lasting impact did she leave? Number 9. James Dean. James Dean became a symbol of youthful rebellion, but his influence reached far beyond his brief Hollywood career. Known for his iconic roles in Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden, Dean portrayed troubled young men in a way that resonated deeply with teenagers and young adults. His struggles added to the mystique surrounding him, transforming him into a cultural icon of defiance and youthful angst. Tragically, Dean's untimely death only amplified his legendary status, cementing his place as the quintessential symbol of the misunderstood rebellious youth. How did his short-lived career leave such a lasting mark on Hollywood and pop culture? Number 10. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn broke barriers uniquely by becoming one of Hollywood's most beloved and graceful stars while redefining the concept of beauty. With her slim, waif-like figure, Hepburn challenged the traditional standards of femininity, which often celebrated curvier body types. She also set a new precedent for stars who transitioned from acting to philanthropy, using her fame to advocate for UNICEF and the world's less fortunate. Hepburn's timeless elegance and humanitarian work made her not just a Hollywood star, but a global icon of compassion and grace. What was it about Hepburn that made her both a Hollywood star and a global ambassador for good? Number 11. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin wasn't just a star, he was a pioneer who helped shape the film industry. As one of the first global superstars, Chaplin created a lasting legacy for silent films in an era that was quickly transitioning to sound. His beloved character, the Tramp, became an enduring symbol of the working-class struggle. and his performances combined humor with sharp social commentary. Through his films, Chaplin challenged societal norms, addressing issues like poverty, class systems, and the hardships of everyday life. His influence on both silent and sound films solidified his place as one of Hollywood's most groundbreaking stars. How did Chaplin's unique blend of humor and social critique change the way we view film? Number 12. Bette Davis. Bette Davis was a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood, and her legacy as one of the greatest actresses of all time remains undeniable. Davis broke the mold with her portrayals of strong, complex women in films like All About Eve and Jezebel, challenging the typical roles offered to women in Hollywood at the time. Her refusal to play by the studio system's rules made her a trailblazer in the fight for women's rights in the industry. Davis was one of the first women in Hollywood to take full control of her career, and her influence continues to inspire actresses today. How did Davis use her power to reshape the roles available to women in Hollywood? Number 13. Clark Gable. Clark Gable, often referred to as the King of Hollywood, was the epitome of charm and masculinity during the 1930s and 1940s. Known for his striking looks and deep voice, Gable became a symbol of strength and allure in a time when leading men were expected to be larger-than-life figures. However, what truly set him apart was his ability to portray complex, flawed characters that resonated with audiences in a way that few stars before him had. His portrayal of Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind remains one of the most iconic roles in film history. Rhett Butler, with his fierce determination, vulnerability, and complex emotions, broke the mold of the stereotypical leading man. Gable made it possible for future actors to portray multifaceted characters who were not just heroes or heartthrobs, but real people with depth and nuance. Gable's willingness to embrace characters with flaws like the morally ambiguous Rhett Butler was groundbreaking for its time. His on-screen persona became synonymous with a new kind of masculinity, one that was tough yet tender, a combination that made him a relatable yet aspirational figure. At the same time, his immense popularity on screen made him an undeniable force in Hollywood. How did Gable manage to redefine the role of the leading man, and what impact did that have on the future of Hollywood's heroes? His transformative work paved the way for a more dynamic portrayal of male characters, breaking free from the one-dimensional archetypes of his era. Number 14. Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly didn't just dance, he revolutionized the way dance was portrayed in film. Known for his roles in Singin' in the Rain and An American in Paris, Kelly's athleticism, combined with his graceful choreography, broke down barriers for male dancers, who were often relegated to secondary roles in musicals. Kelly pushed the limits of what was possible, blending strength with fluidity, which made him a pioneer in Hollywood's musical genre. His daring approach to choreography set new standards and made him a star unlike any other in the world of dance. How did Gene Kelly change the landscape for male dancers in Hollywood musicals? As we've seen, these 15 stars didn't just make waves, they shattered barriers, paving the way for the future of Hollywood. They challenged norms, defied expectations, and forever changed the industry. But their legacies raise an important question. What more could Hollywood accomplish if more stars dared to break the mold today? If you were inspired by these trailblazers, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us for more stories that uncover the boldest moments in Hollywood history. Don't miss out on the next chapter of legendary stars who changed the game.